This edition of Mac Voices is supported by Macstock Conference and Expo and the Midwest Mac Barbecue, set for July 16 and 17 in Woodstock, Illinois. Join me, along with Melissa Davis, the Mac Mommy, Jody Spangler of Lakeshore Mac, technologist Kirsten Sia, and Wally Cherwinski of Magic 22. Find out more and register to attend at macstock2016.com. Hi, I'm Chuck Joyner. Mac Voices is in Las Vegas for NAB. I'm with Paul of Timecode Systems. He's going to talk about a little addition to GoPro cameras that is kind of unique, and I think it's a first, Paul.
It is a first. Hi, Chuck. What we've got here at the show, launching for the first time, is a new accessory for GoPro that's launched under the GoPro Developers Program and the Works with GoPro initiative. And working with GoPro under their development kit, we've come up with a really neat solution for creating embedded timecode sync for a GoPro. So for once now, we have got a solution where, with that clipped onto the back of a Hero 4 Silver or Black, we can now create frame-accurate timecode embedded straight onto the media. So when we take that memory card out, the timecode is frame-accurate with all the other GoPros on the shoot and Pro Audio and Pro Sound. So no manually resyncing anything ever again in post.
So this is actually writing the code straight to the MP4 file.
Correct. So it is writing it straight to the MP4. Of course, on most NLEs that will play natively, but even if transcoding into ProRes or Avid, the timecode stays intact. So once you've ingested it, it's exactly the same as any other Pro workflow. So for the first time, the $500 Hero 4 Black, the workflow that creates is exactly the same as a $50,000 Arri Alexa.
That's a little crazy. So how, as far as the timecode syncing with all the other GoPros on the shoot, how are you accomplishing that?
Sure. So if we just want to sync GoPro to GoPro, you would just attach a SyncBac to every GoPro, clip it on. You would assign one as the master, the others as the slaves. So you could have one master, 49 slaves, unlimited amount to be fair. You could have 200. And they will completely sync timecode between all those units wirelessly. If those units go out of range from each other, doesn't matter, they continue on their very accurate clock. As soon as they come back into range, they will soft sync back in to the incredible accuracy. Now, if we want to interface the cameras now with the Pro world, so larger format, traditional broadcast cameras and Pro Audio that you find multi-track audio, you would use our supporting product called the Pulse, which is there. And that acts as a mini base station to glue the SyncBac together with the Pro Audio world. So you would use that as the master clock, and these all as slaves.
So this, from what I'm understanding, I can mount one of these in a drone, send it up out of range, it comes back, and it still stays in sync.
Still stays in sync, yeah. So even if it goes out of range for a while, it will soft sync when it comes back in, but the clock is so accurate, you would never be more than a frame out in a shoot day anyway. The advantage of this system here is that it's not just about synchronization, because when these things are hooked up to a Pulse mini base station, we also have remote control and status of multiple units from one application. So behind me here, I've got our Mac application, but we've got a Mac, PC, Android, iOS, 3 applications. And when the application is connected to the Pulse via Wi-Fi or Ethernet, using our long-range RF system, we can see the status of all these cameras, start, stop, remote control, put them to sleep, wake them up. We can see remotely how much is left on the memory card, how much is left on the battery life. So we can name them. We can put a friendly name on them, what camera, what that's on. So we can see on one screen the status of all the cameras around.
Okay, wow, there's a lot there.
There's a lot there.
So one of my concerns would be that the Hero 4 especially chews up batteries pretty quickly.
Yeah.
How much juice am I taking juice from the Hero 4 to power this, or is it self-powered?
It's completely self-powered. We've done that intentionally. So on its own, it's self-powered. That will last at least 12 hours. As we know, the Hero 4, depending on the modes, you might get a couple of hours shooting out of it. So the advantage is that because we're not taking any power from the camera's not taking any power from us. When we're connected, because we then have the remote control capability from our long range from our application, once it's rigged, if it's not needed, we can put the camera to sleep remotely from our backpack. And then, of course, when you need it, you turn it back on. We can see it's come back on. We can put it into record. And we can remote status the battery, so we can see if the battery is running low, and we know which one to go and swap. So it does aid the camera battery life.
So what kind of pricing do we have for these units?
The single pricing for a SyncBac Pro is $269 retail price.
And how about for the, you said the applications are free, but how about the other unit?
The applications are free. The Pulse unit is around about $1,100.
So for not a lot of money, I can sync all my GoPros, and I especially love the remote management part. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So, I mean, the money that you would pay up front for SyncBac Pro and the workflow, you would easily save that in post-production with not ever have to manually sync GoPro content ever again.
Availability?
From June, from the summer.
And where can we send people to get them?
All of our online retailers, we've got a website, syncbac.com, timecodesystems.com. Go onto there, it'll point you in the direction of all the retailers worldwide.
Paul, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you.
Folks, I will have more from NAB in Las Vegas. This is Mac Voices. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for links, show notes, to subscribe, to connect with Chuck on Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and the MacVoices blog. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter, the MacVoices Dispatch, to stay up to date on all the latest MacVoices news from our front page or at macvoices.com/newsletter. Do more with your Apple tech by subscribing to the free MacVoices Magazine on Flipboard by visiting macvoices.com/magazine. Advertising and sponsorships handled by backbeatmedia at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.